Blunder through. I'm working with ChatGPT, and I want to do some snap data, Sentinel, uh, you know, um, remote sensing stuff. The first thing I did, however, is I just got, for the Akrish area, I just got a Hillshade analysis, which was pretty fun to do, because I have this. I'll show you. I have this digital elevation map. So I have this DEM, and I think that this DEM is at 12.5 meters, I think. Does it say? Information extent, and it's geotiff, and the dimensions, and the pixel size. Yeah, it's that pixel size there, I believe, is at 12.5 meters. I can ask, I can just say pixel size, and I'll just say to chat, what resolution is this DEM, this pixel size, and put that in, and it tells us blah blah blah. It does wonderful math. Oh, so it's actually about 30 meter. Okay, so it's a 30 meter roughly. So anyway, that's what we have, and we're looking at Akrish, which is down here, and you can just barely make out that there is some terrain. Look, so the Hillshade gives you a whole lot better, and it does it by calculating the altitude and the azimuth. And so what I did, and I'll just rerun it, I'll get rid of this so you can see that. So I'm going to remove layer. Okay, and I'll turn on the hybrid again, which is over it. So I want this area here, and all I did is go to processing toolbox over here, and I put in Hillshade, and there were two. There was the raster terrain analysis built in by QGIS Hillshade, and then the GDAL, which is supposed to be a little more complex. So I ran this one. I just double clicked on it, and I told it that the elevation layer I wanted was that DEM. I kept the Z factor normal. It's got the normal azimuth, default, and the vertical angle of 40, which you can change. And then I gave it a place to save the file, which I called Hillshade for Akrish. And I'll replace it now. And then I open the output. So when I hit run, yay hooray, here it goes. And we see that it has this Hillshade on there. And I want to put on I don't think I like very much. That's a little dark. So I go to symbology. Well, let's go to transparency first. Bring this about halfway and apply it. Yeah, we begin to see it like that. You look at the symbology. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. There's this thing called Hillshade. You can actually change the azimuth around as well as the altitude of the sun. And when you do that, then you get this, but this looks really ugly. So I don't think I'll be using Hillshade because of how ugly it is. Although, I think the interesting things is that, yeah, see, I mean, it's not great. So why use it? So let's double click on this again and get the symbology. And instead of using Hillshade, let's see, if you wanted to use contours, you get that typical map contour thing, which is kind of cool. See? But you don't really see them that well, but there they are. There's a typical contour map. But we want to look at it in terms of a single band gray, and stretch to min max is fine. The brightness, the gamma, all that can be messed with. But when we apply that, then we get a much more interesting terrain model. And as you can see, you really begin to see the mountains, whereas if you turned it off, you wouldn't necessarily get all that for doing the analysis. Certainly not when you're down here by a creche, whereas when you put on the hillshade, you get definite slope information looking at the azimuth. And you can change it. So if you want to see different times of day or night, then you would go to, well, you'd have to do that when you ran it, I guess. Interestingly, color gradient, white to black, black to white. And yeah, because if this is the only way, I guess you can change it from within here. If you wanted to bring the azimuth up in the altitude, say if the sun was lower in the sky, if it was like 30 degrees, and then you applied it, you'd get that. But that does not help you when you go back to single band gray. So we accept, or did it? Maybe it did. That would be interesting if it actually uses the hillshade. If I go in altitude of 90 degrees looking straight down and making this a 0 degrees and then say apply, then go to gray, what does that do? Not sure it does anything. All right, anyway, at least we've got the hillshade, and that's kind of fun. And I wonder if you do, if you go for 3D, there's the hillshade. If we look at the scene settings, and the Z exaggeration, the background, the world, the light and effects, I don't know as we have to go to layers. That's the open topo map. Here's the hillshade to give us that look. Whereas if we do the DEM, it's not as big. The hillshade gives us much better results in there, which is kind of cool. You don't need the exaggeration of it. Okay, well that's nice to know. The hillshade does give us this, because then when you go to your scene settings, you can exaggerate the Z, like bring it up by 3. Wow, then you really get this craziness there. So we don't want that. Scene settings, bring it back to 1. Or just use the DEM. The thing is, if you do the DEM, then you do want to have the exaggeration so that you can see the mountains a little bit if you were looking at that. What this does, by the way, this is QGIS to 3GS exporter, is it will show whatever's showing up in here. So if I don't want to see that, I just want to use it, I would go like this, and then I would go to this QGIS Explorer. I'll use plugins. I think it's under raster, open topography. No, it's under view, or is it under web? QGIS, under web. So that's how you'd find it if you don't look over here, but there's the symbol right there. So you do that. Now we are seeing that same elevation really nicely using the topo. If we use hillside, oh my goodness gracious. So that's a mess in it. So this is what happens with this, whereas if you use the DEM, you get a much better 3D for that. if we were going to use the hillside, I wonder if you'd then have to go into scene settings. Oh yeah, it should be set to 1. But even that isn't very good. I mean, it's just crazy when you're using that. And you probably have to bring it down, maybe even to 0.5. Yeah, getting a little better if you're using hillside as the source of your 3D information. If not, then don't use it. Use this, and then go to the scene settings and bring it back to 1, and you can get better values there. Okay, so that's QGIS to 3GS exporter, and we have Hillshade for Acreage. All right, yay, hooray. Now I want to get some satellite data, and I don't know how, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I want Sentinel data. So it says that I want to download Snap. And it gives me a download Snap button, but it's not letting me pick it for some reason. So let's just go to the web. And pages. And let's go to Snap for QGIS. Not that. All right, for remote sensing. There we go. Snap. And there's a common architecture for Sentinel, and we need to download it. And main download for Windows 64-bit. And say we understand. And now it is downloading. And it's going to take some minutes, so we're going to pause this. All right, it appears as if we are now done. Let's see. It says done, not starting. Open when done. It says done. Go new. Will it come through? It says done. It's not done yet. So let's see. If we double click on that, we'll start the installation of that application. And it's taking its sweet time, so we'll get back to you after it has stopped. All right. It is now preparing. It gave me a warning about possible viruses and threats, so I had to tell it to run anyway. And now we're installing the wizard. Guide us through to the promised land. And we get here, and you accept the agreement, and go on to whatever's recommended. Tell it that's what you want. What does it say? I've got 39 gigs. All right, uses about a gig. Put all these tool sets in, and let it extract. And select all. Next, create a desktop icon, run Snap Desktop. All right, so this is our first use of Snap. This is for remote sensing. It comes from the Sentinel Applications Platform, SN for Sentinel Applications Platform, given to us generously by the European Space Agency. Let's see what it does. And we end up here. You're running the latest major version. Okay, checking for updates. There are no updates. And you end up with Snap. So what do you do while you're in Snap? It's another program to learn. So how do we use it? So once I start Snap, this is what I get, and it's not obvious what to do. When we go to the tools and look at the plugins and look at the available plugins, and there is nothing for Sentinel data. There's processing, as you can see, but that's for atmospheric correction. There's nothing that lets you download the .safe file that would give you the actual base map. So I'm not super pleased with this because it's not giving me that plugin. And so not having the ability to use the map directly makes me want to check out, see if there's something else here, mask manager, layer manager, rather than trying to learn a whole new interface. Apparently there is, oh well, there's the world, is it? Satellite facility, Amazon Web, maybe it will come up. Layer manager, there was something there. Product name, it's the product library. Account Sentinel 1 is there. So area of interest. Oh, maybe what you do is go to the project library and then let's zoom in. Oh, look at that. That's sweet, isn't it? All right, so let's go to Morocco and see if we can find the information. Product, sort by product name, mission, ascending. Can you search by tools options? Add an account for the remote repository. Go to tools options. Go to tools options and then go to the remote repository. And then I don't have any remote repository. All right, so we'd have to learn a little bit more about that. Product library, Amazon, Alaska's really good. And there's QGIS, there's also Copernicus data space. So let's add, can we drag that in here? No. 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 So let's apply it. Empty repository. What about this? Alaska didn't give me empty. Well, I don't know. That's the area of interest. So it's really interesting. So we can get Alaska or Copernicus, but it doesn't show how to download any of this. But this is a start. I don't know if Morocco, no results. I don't know if this is the way to go about this for Snap, but let's see about adding the plugin to here. If we go to plugins and go to our manage and install, is there a Snap plugin? If we go to all, Lens Snap. Snap is available. All right, network, pick layer, go to Street View. Because what did QGIS tell us? QGIS told us that select the subset, open the data set, use the Sentinel Hub QGIS plugin. Sentinel Hub is what we're supposed to search for. There it is. All right, so maybe we don't have to go to this whole thing. Let's install Sentinel Hub. And having that, when we go to plugins, Sentinel Hub should be somewhere. If it's not under that, maybe it's under Raster. plugins, not showing up there. It's not showing up. Maybe it's under web. Yes, Sentinel Hub web. Okay. Welcome to Sentinel Hub, and we need to create a client. Okay. So, oh lordy, here we go. Oh, whole other thing we've got to do. How to use tokens. All right, we're going to look this up and get back to you. So a whole nother procedure. You've got to create an account, and that means filling out all these fancy things. All right, we'll get back to you. Right, so I signed up. Now what? Explore the data, etc. Let's go back here and see what's up. Client ID and client secret. Oh, gee. Right, so now that I've got that, I've got to go to, you need to register a client in your account settings. All right. So I already have an account. Which I'm going to log into. And I'm supposed to receive an email. All right, so I received an email and I clicked here and I can create a client. Client name, Thomas Culhane, client credentials, and will be used by a single page application. I'm not sure if that's true. Never expire. Security risk. Well, I guess we can let it expire in 2025 and then do another one. Let's see. All right, so there we get client ID, which we put here. And then we get client secret. Copy it, you won't be able to see it again. Oh my. All right, well, there it is. And then log in. And it failed. Check your credentials. Why? It's the ID and the secret. So close this out. And let's see again. So you have a client ID. I think I should take this and save it. Save as and OAuth client ID and secret. But we took this and we told it that we wanted this. So we go goodbye to you. You are the client ID and you are the secret. And why won't it let me plug in? Data space, maybe it needs to be that. Ah, okay, so it had to be the data space, not the services setup. But we are in, logged in. Says we're logged in. All right, and then create, and we have no idea what to do. And download, image format, current windows, the bounding box. Well, let's see, maybe we can get our information. Maybe we can come in here, use resolution, and can use a ping. Current window, download folder. We'll use the maps. I guess that's fine. Use the maps for that. And download. Please concept of configuration. What does that mean? Configuration. Oh, I don't know. What's the configuration? It's nothing. WMS, what's the configuration? Layer, put it in a layer. We are logged in. And CRS, nothing's clickable now. Create a new layer. It's like, oh, update existing layer. Oh, let's see. Create a new layer. Right, it didn't give me a layer. So maybe you've got to go to layer and say create layer. And what's it going to be? A geo package layer? I thought when you click on create, you would get one. Apparently not. So, most recent. There's no configuration. Maybe we need to create a new geo package layer and call this. I don't think I have to do that. I'll get back to you. All right, it appears that I have to do this in my Copernicus account because I don't have a configuration. So I need to give a configuration name. I'll call this HAF projects, I guess, and then create a configuration based on the Sentinel 1 template. Gee, I don't really know what I'm doing. Create a configuration, and then that gives you different stuff. And then when you go into QGIS, I guess if you're logged in, then when you go here, the configuration, it shows it, it comes up, look at that, it did for a second. There it is. All right, and then, I don't know, it says 3857, layer. What just happened there? What happened to my HAF stuff? Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. All right, and then create a new layer. And then bang, it did create the layer. Look at that. But what's it got on it? Nothing? Nothing. I don't know what that data is supposed to be. Download. And then maps. Current window. Yeah. Download. It downloaded it as a ping. But where? Because that you'd think would be it. And that's not it. Because this is above everything else. But it's got nothing in it. Oh. I have no idea what to do. But we're getting somewhere. Please a configuration. We did. I thought we did. Configuration, HRF projects, service, layer. I don't know. Stuff to learn. Maybe it's in the wrong place. Maybe it needs to be 4326. And then create a layer. Ah, there we go. I was in the wrong. Thing there. So remove that layer. All right. So we have some data. So what are we going to do with that data? Hell if I know. As of yet. But there is data. There is data. Look at that. Yeah. We got some data. When we turn this off and look, we see Marrakesh, and I really want to be down here in Akrish, and then turn it on. Turn on there's our Hillshade. And where is our Sentinel? There's our Sentinel. Boom. So the Sentinel data does something, but we don't know what it does. So it's time to learn more. All right, so here's where ChatGPT is going to help me. So it says to adjust the symbology. So if I double click on this and go to symbology, and then it tells me to go from single band pseudocolor or single band gray. So single band, all we've got is single band color data. Don't know why. Why is that? Oh, that's messed up. Alright, so we want it to be in, that's all it gives you. If you reset it. No, invert the colors, apply it. Not so great. Said to do a stretch, but there is no way to do a stretch. So that's fascinating because it wants me to change it. Histogram stretch. I don't know why it's not giving us 4326. Symbology. Blending mode. Yeah, it's just stuck on single band. Nothing of interest there. So it's just a shame that that's all we're getting. And single band color data. Well, in that case, it's time to ask ChatGPT more stuff. Okay, well, chat comes through. It says that I need to verify the data type and that if it lists a WMS, then you're working with a server-provided image, not raw data. And then that means I don't have control over it. It's a pre-rendered web layer, not a raw raster file. So they don't have raw data that can be manipulated. So when we right-click here, go to the properties, then you see under source that it is in fact a WMS, and therefore we cannot manipulate it. So there's nothing to do with that layer. So it gives a suggestion, which is to download the raw data and make it as a SAFE file. So it says to go to the Copernicus Open Access Hub and then download a SAFE file. Can't change the render type. All right. So the Copernicus Open Access Hub, assumedly, Copernicus Open Access Hub. Like, I don't know what that looks like. I think that it is this. All right, so of course I should be reading all of this, but there's so much to learn. But once again, here in the Copernicus browser, if I go to Morocco and I go to Marrakesh and then down here, that's the area that I want, and then the Sentinel 1 data would be nice to have. There's Thomas Lute, so Akrish is somewhere in this area here. So how does one get this data? Go to the place and then you make base maps. 3D. Very nice, but show latest date, find products in the current view, and then we want the Sentinel 1. This is all Sentinel 1. So I guess you can get this data. Let's say our urban linear gamma, and I'd have to figure out what we want. But this must be what we had before, with these little dots in it. And then add to pair and you download. No, that's not download. That doesn't do anything. That's just the HTML. Let's go back. Let's do the linear gamma again. Add to pins. How do you download? It's 10 meters, which is great. So to download, add to compare. How do you download? Right click and right click. And the delay. So it's not obvious to me how you download it. Do have data, show latest date. Those are the products. Floods and droughts. Let's do the latest. It looks like a great bunch of data. The question is, how do you download the image? Alright, it was right there. And analytical, it's the linear. So you can get all these different things, I guess. Okay, no georeference. Ping, no georeference. What if I want georeference? Show legend. Analytical. Give me georeference. Yes. 16-bit. TIFF. KMZ JPEG. That's a zipped file. Let's go for 16-bit. Image resolution. We'll take that. And let's download it. Me figuring all this stuff out. Alright. Now, show in folder. Let's cut this and put this in my SRTM map folder. Paste it in. And then let's bring this in. So, if we add a raster layer and we bring it in from here, add it, now we have much better information, the other one. And then this can be, in its properties, the source is no longer a WMS, which means we can change its symbology, and we can go to single band pseudo color if we like. Although that didn't do anything. We can go to single band gray. We can go to multiband color. Where were we? Yeah, the multiband color. And then you can stretch, clip, stretch, gray band, green. So much to learn. Anything. So, a lot to learn. Because I don't know what this is about yet. But it has some information to it. And I guess it's superior to the download that I did here. Which is, in a way, a shame. Because you would think that if we don't want WMS, if that's the problem, then what if we did WMTS? What if we created a layer like that, and then we have this layer, and its properties are, yes, they are not WMS. So we could have gotten it. We could have gotten it from there. That's the WMTS. And with that, let me see, properties. WMTS, the symbology, it's still, yeah, it's still, WMTS doesn't help us either. Too bad. All right, so it can't be WMTS. What should it be? Can we get anything else from this? WFS. Create. There it is there. Ooh-wee. Let's see if we take this and go to properties. It's WFS. But it doesn't give us any symbology, which is interesting. That's weird. And so there's going to be a lot to learn. Oh, look at that. Weird. So, a lot to learn. And really, the best seems to come in from going to Copernicus directly. Downloading from Copernicus rather than working right in QGIS. So a lot to learn, and I think that's all we're going to do for tonight as we blunder our way through trying to learn all these skills. Thanks.